Hello, it is I are Smart, and today we are going to talk about politics. But don't worry, this will not be opinionated. This is totally going to be opinion and bias free, because we're not going to talk about political opinions. We're just going to talk about the way government and politics works in general. Because as you probably tell, you may or may not know, we're in the middle of the 2020 election, and well, that's pretty great. Here, look, I don't know if I should. I have a little American flag. I am an American. Woo. So today we're going to be talking about the 2020 election. Simply just to explain how it works, because I am in AP Government and Politics. I don't know why I did that to myself, but whatever. I'm in it now, so I have a decent amount of knowledge. Also, I have a test coming up. I figure I can study and get stuff done at the same time. I can get a video done. I can study for government. You may notice that. I'll show you this in a second. So yeah, I'm going to explain the 2020 election. Because maybe you want to know. Maybe you're someone outside the United States, or maybe you just don't know that much about the election. I'll try and give you I don't want to say dumbed down, but just a watered down. That sounds good. Yeah, watered down version of what I'm gonna take a test on this Wednesday. So yep. Okay. Basically, where do we start? Well, we're gonna start with political parties. So if you didn't know, in America, right here, we have a two-party system, which means that we have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I'm not going to say my political opinion on which party I am, but basically, the Democratic Party has ideals more progressive, you could say. They're more based on you can freely express your social issues, like you freely express yourself, sort of thing, but they're very restrictive on the way economics are handled. Meanwhile, the Republican Party likes a laissez faire, which means free economics, that you can just do whatever you want, sort of thing. They prefer an open market, but however, they are very restrictive on your social things. And that covers the broad regions. And then you get into gun control and abortion, all sorts of topics we don't want to talk about because they're very hot topics. And that takes away from the point of this because we're talking about how the election works. But basically, that just gives you an idea of what the parties are. There are, of course, third parties, which pretty much in every election, there's a third party, and they like to just show up, and they pretty much just mess things up. If we're being honest, I could go way into detail, but I'm sure you don't care because most Americans and other people don't care about third parties. They just kind of show up, and they do things, but whatever. We're gonna move on. Anyway, so how do we get here? Basically, the point. It's a very difficult process to become the president. We're gonna focus on presidential elections here. It's a bit easier, and not a lot easier, but it's the one people care about, and that's what we're in the middle of right now. And you may have heard about stuff. There's all sorts of stuff. Pretty much what we do, and we have a sitting president, that being President Donald Trump, who's running for re-election. And every time a president, they run for election, and they can go a second time, but that's it. That's all they're allowed to do. You're only allowed to do 2 terms. That's just a rule. Anyway, so yeah, President Trump is running for re-election, which means he can pretty much just bypass all the primary stuff and get onto the general election. You may be asking, what's a primary? Well, we're going to get there because you see, the Democrats have to go through the primary and caucus process to figure out who's going to be their candidate to run against Donald Trump, which they've narrowed it down to quite a few people left. You see, they have Bernie Sanders, who advocates for more, like, very, very far left. Like, the political spectrum, Bernie Sanders is all the way on the left. He really wants to just make everything super, super democratic. A lot of people call him a socialist for his ideas. That's up to you to decide. He wants to raise the minimum wage to $15. Also, he wants to tax the wealthy, which a lot of people have differing opinions on. But yeah, that's basically Bernie Sanders. There's also Elizabeth Warren. She's kind of similar with that. There's some other people. They're not as entertaining as Bernie. Bernie's really fun to watch. There's also, of course, uh, Pete Buttigieg. He's more of a moderate. And the thing is that means that I need to explain the political spectrum. I haven't done a good job of this so far. Basically, there's the right. Wait, this is your left. I'm sorry. This is the left. This is the right. Okay, yeah. On the right side, we have very far Republican, very far left. All right, very far Democrat. And there's a decent amount of Americans, most people on either side, but there's also a big chunk in the middle. When you're trying to win an election, you want to appeal to the people in the middle, who are going to go either way. And that gets into swing states. We'll get that on the whiteboard here. I mean, this is actually a chalkboard. I'm sorry, not blackboard. Yeah. Anyway, so you want to appeal to the people in the middle, which means a lot of the time if you want to be a moderate, means that if you're on the political spectrum, someone like Pete Buttigieg is right here. He's like close. He's still Democrat, but he wants to appeal to all these moderate people to get them on his side, which takes away from the Republican candidate, that being Trump, which means that Pete Buttigieg would win the election. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated, but that's the idea. Whereas someone like Bernie Sanders, who's all the way on the left over here, he has to he already has a good chunk of the far left Democrats. However, he has to appeal to the middle Democrats and the independents, which is a difficult task. Also, I'm forgetting a bunch of other candidates like Joe Biden, Michael Bloomberg. Bloomberg being an interesting case because everyone hates him because he's spending millions and millions of dollars on ads and stuff. But he doesn't really have much else besides that. A lot of people are accusing him of buying into the election. But whatever, that's another thing to get into. Whew, I hope you're enjoying this because I sure am. This is exciting stuff. Politics. I'm sorry. Let's get back into it. So those are those are like some of the main front runners of the Democratic Party. But yeah, you know what? That's the idea. Now we need to explain primaries and caucuses. To do that, I need to show you a map. This is an electoral map. I drew it myself. I hope you can see it. Yep. So this here is a map of the United States. I've drawn it myself. You may notice some states are different colors. You see, we have California, which is colored blue, Texas, which is colored red, and then some other weird states, like Florida, that's colored white. I wonder what that is. Well, you see, blue typically represents the Democratic Party. Red represents the Republican. And this map is a current projection of what 2020 is looking like. This is a current, because every year there's a lot of the times the states change. Like Michigan, for example, is usually a blue state, but in 2016 they were a red state, which means that, and blue state versus red state means majority of the population voted for either Republican or Democrat, blue and red respectively. So, what do the numbers mean? We're getting there. That represents the electors. If you may be thinking like, all right, political elections, they're pretty easy, right? It's just whoever gets the most votes wins. No, it's whoever gets the most electoral votes wins. Hang on, because this is about to get crazy. So basically, there are 538 total electors. They're distributed amongst the states. What are electors? Basically, they represent the people. Kind of, but not really. Okay. See, like, let's take an example of California. They have the number 55. This 55 represents the total number of senators and representatives they have in Congress. If you don't know about Congress, it's the branch of the U.S. government that makes laws. And every state has 2 senators. Every single state. This state, which is really big, this state, which is really small, all of them have 2 senators. However, representatives, they have a lot. We look at like, where should I pick? There's a lot of states on here. We'll go North Carolina. North Carolina's over there. This is North Dakota. I know my states. This is North Dakota. They have the number 3, which means 3 electors, which means they have, of course, the 2 senators and 1 representative. And I'm still upset about myself that I called this Carolina. This is Carolina. This is North Dakota. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Anyway, so yeah, they have the number 3. However, someone like California has 55. You may be saying like, well, that's totally unfair. They have way more. Well, it's because they have the 2 senators plus all their representatives. The thing is, 1 representative here, states like this, around here, have super, super low population. So like a couple thousand people to every delegate, or delegate, representative, elector, yes. They have a decent amount of people to 1 elector. Someone like California has millions and millions of people in their state. So 1 elector there may be only representing millions, like a million people. I don't know what the exact rate is, but it's like a couple thousand to an elector versus a million to an elector. So then we get into weird stuff where it's basically the swing states decide the election. What are swing states? They are states like this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And that changes every so often. But, it's pretty interesting. So basically the swing states decide the election because whoever campaigns there is probably going to win there. So if Trump goes to, say, Florida, and he's like, guys, I need you to vote for me. And everyone's like, yeah, all right, cool, we'll vote for Trump. And if they vote for Trump, well, you see, the thing is, when people vote in the general election, their votes get tallied up. Whoever the Democratic candidate is going to be, and the Republican candidate is like 99% going to be Trump, they're going to go up together, and whoever gets the most votes. So let's just say, hypothetically, that Trump wins the majority of the votes in Florida. All right? So, he has the majority of the votes, and that means that he will get all of the 29 electors that Florida has. You may be thinking, wait, but like, what about all the other? Why did they all go to him? Because we have a winner-take-all system. Oh yeah, a lot of people don't like this, but that's just the way it is. So the winner-take-all system means that whoever gets the most votes, actually it's plurality, but don't worry about it. Oh god, that scared me. Oh, okay, sorry. Whoever's whoever's getting the most votes is going to get all the electors for that state. Crazy, right? Honestly, I've jumped ahead a little bit because I haven't even talked about primaries and caucuses. Oh boy. So, these currently only apply to the Democratic Party because they still have to nominate who's going to run against Trump. So, the first state that gets to decide where they're divvying up their delegates are different than electors, but they're still the same number. So, Iowa over here. We're talking about Iowa. 6 electors, 6 delegates. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. If this is wrong, I'm going to look really stupid. I really hope I don't say anything wrong in this. Please correct me if I do. Anyway, 6 for Iowa. Iowa has a caucus. They have the first one. You may be thinking, what the heck is a caucus? Everyone else is thinking the same question. I don't know who came up with it. It's literally the stupidest idea ever. Basically, I'm going to move this for a second. A bunch of people get together in a room, and they're like, I don't know how to describe this with just one person. But basically, a bunch of people are standing in a room, and they are like, all right, there are 4 corners in this room. If you want Bernie, go to that corner. If you want Biden, go to that corner. If you want Warren, go to there. If you want Buttigieg, go to there. Well, actually, it's not like that. It's kind of like just make your own groups and whoever you support. Then, this gets complicated. Whoever has the most, like they decide however much proportional, like if there's only 3 people in one group, they say, all right, forget you, your candidate doesn't get it, go join the other ones. And this keeps going on until there's 2 big groups left, and they all fight, and they make a decision, and then somebody wins the caucus. However, usually in caucuses, they distribute it proportionally. So say, for example, I forget who won Iowa because they screwed it up. This year they screwed up the Iowa caucus. I don't know how they did. But basically, the proportional thing means that whoever got the majority there, I think it might have been, it was either Bernie or Buttigieg, I think. It was somebody, I forget, I'm sorry. Somebody got most of the electors, but then the other ones got some of them. Like a couple of the candidates only got like 3, some of them got like 20-ish. Delegates are weird. I don't know. Caucuses are weird. Anyway, so they got to keep counting them up. And after that, there are primaries. Primaries are easy. Basically, people just go and vote. Do you want this candidate, this one to go up against Trump? And then they vote for that, and then they get delegates, and they add up. And then whoever has the most delegates at the end, something, something, something. I've gone on for too long about this. Finally, after we have all of the primaries and caucuses done, then Democrats will pick their candidate to go up against Trump. And in the general election, which is back to where we were, I think, I had to explain primaries and caucuses, and I don't think I did it very well. I apologize, but this stuff's complicated. So yeah, pretty much, you need 270 to win. This is important. 270 electors. Because there's 538 total. So if neither candidate gets to 270, stuff gets complicated. But that usually doesn't happen. And also, there's a little interesting thing. So basically, we're going to look at the 2016 election as an example for this. So in the 2016 election, it was Hillary versus Trump. And you see, there in the general election, it was one of the closest races ever in American history of voting. I mean, 2000 was also pretty close. So close that some weird stuff happened, but whatever. We don't need to talk about the 2000 election. So basically, Hillary Clinton, won the majority of the votes by like a couple million or something. Out of all the people that voted, she had the majority. However, you're thinking, wait a second, if Hillary Clinton won the majority of the votes, why isn't she president? Why is Trump president? That doesn't make any sense. Are you sure you're right? Yes, I am sure. Because Trump got the more electors. I'm not going to draw another map to show what the 2016 one looked like, but it was super red. You see, Hillary Clinton took a lot of the states that had big population, a lot of the, like California, New York, those ones, because those states are typically more Democrat. And I could get into that, but we're not going to get into why they are the way they are. More of the rural areas are Republican. Trump won very crucial swing states. Florida, Michigan, a bunch of stuff he shouldn't have won. But he did win those electors. Therefore, the electors, they're like, all right, Trump's in charge. It's weird stuff, because you're thinking like, all right, as an American, my vote matters. Kind of. Your vote kind of sort of maybe influences an elector what to do, because an elector doesn't actually have to do what you tell them to. Yeah, an elector does not have to vote the way their state votes. Even if every single person in the state voted for Trump, then an elector can say, you know what, I kind of want to go with Bernie. But yeah, that's weird stuff. I hope this made sense to you in some way. That's kind of a weird note to end on. Basically, there's a bunch of arguments that we should just get rid of the Electoral College because it makes it unfair. However, I do think it's important, but also I can see the other side of how it kind of makes your vote not count. I can see both sides, and you should make up your own opinions. This is a very just blanket explanation of the 2020 election. I hope you enjoyed. I'm kind of out of breath, if I'm being totally honest. I talked for a while. This government stuff, it's actually really entertaining. So, yeah, I don't think I missed anything. I probably did. So, okay, bye. I don't know if anyone's actually gonna sit through this video watching me explain this, but hey, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. America.